My husband is from India. Of course I know how to make butter chicken. This restaurant style version is one my family loves. It's creamy, flavorful, and I just enjoy the process of making it. We're going to start by marinating our chicken, 2 heaping spoons of plain yogurt, about a tablespoon of ginger garlic paste, a teaspoon each of coriander, cumin, a half teaspoon of turmeric and red chili powder, a little less than half a teaspoon of garam masala, and then a good tablespoon of kasuri methi, which is dried fenugreek, the juice of 1 lime, a little bit of salt, and then we're going to give it a good mix. I really love this marinade. It's going to add so much flavor to the chicken, make it tender, keep it juicy, and already this marinade smells so good. I'm just going to pour that over 3 chicken breasts that I've cubed up. It looks a little funky. That's because it was kind of frozen still, but that's fine. And then I'm going to mix really well. Marinate this overnight if you can, but at minimum a couple hours. This recipe is on page 48 of my cookbook, and it's the only Indian recipe you'll find in there. Now we're going to start on our gravy. We're going to heat up some oil, and once that's hot, add in a red onion, a good handful of cashews, some dried red chili, and then ginger and garlic. Just rough chop it all because we're going to blend it all later anyway. Cook those onions until they're soft, a little brown if you have the patience. Normally I use crushed tomato for this. I was out, so I'm using San Marzano, and that's fine. And then I'm also adding a little bit of tomato sauce, some salt, and I'm going to cover and let this simmer for a good 10 minutes to cook those tomatoes out. Then we want to season this. I would start with about a tablespoon each of cumin and coriander and a couple teaspoons of turmeric and red chili, but really play around with it because not all spices are made the same. Just do it to your liking. Once that cooled, I transferred it to a blender, and then to that same pan, I'm going to add a big glob of butter and then all of my whole spices. I have some whole peppercorn, cloves, cinnamon, and bay leaves. After a couple minutes of sauteing that, I'm going to return my pureed gravy to the pan. Rub about 2 tablespoons of kasuri methi between your hands to crush it in, and then add a good teaspoon of garam masala. Now is a good time to taste and adjust your spices accordingly. Now I have cooked my chicken. I did mine in the air fryer. You can bake it, pan cook it, grill it, totally up to you. Just make sure it's cooked all the way through. I always tell myself to add the chicken and cover and let it simmer for a while, let the flavors marry, but I'm impatient. So I went ahead and added my heavy cream, probably a good half of a cup. If you notice your gravy is a little thick like mine was, you can add some water, which I did end up doing. And then I covered and I let this simmer for about 5 minutes just to let it all come together. And at the end to garnish, I'm going to add a little bit more heavy cream and of course some freshly chopped cilantro. Serve with rice or naan.